Pink Heart Lambeth Cake. Welcome back to our channel, Enchanted Cakes by Yvette. I'm your host, Yvette Farrugia. Today, let's decorate this piped buttercream heart cake together. We're going to pipe 9 rows of buttercream in total around the cake, using 5 different piping tips and 3 shades of pink buttercream. Plus, at the end of this video, we will discuss some pricing considerations for this style of cake, so make sure you stay with us. Before we start, it's great to have you here, whether this is your first time joining us or if you've been following along from the start. You're in the right place for all things cake business related, from cake decorating techniques to business advice and mindset tips. We discuss it all. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. To start, we prepare our piping bags that are already fitted with our piping tips by placing our buttercream onto cling wrap and rolling it into a cone shape. This makes it much easier to fill our bags mess-free. We have covered our heart-shaped cake with pale pink buttercream in rose colour from Colour Mill and let it set up in the fridge overnight. Our cake is an 8-inch heart cake, which is approximately 5 inches tall. We are using an acrylic 21 plaque for our gold topper from a local supplier, Fuzz 3D Creations. We place this directly onto our cold cake and gently press it onto the surface. To start piping, we're using the darkest shade of rose pink for the border at the base, using a 6B loyal piping tip. We have started piping at the top middle position of the heart and work our way around the cake in a shell design. Next, we start our frilled drapes using a medium shade of the pink and a petal tip, the Loyal 126. As you can see, we've placed our piping tip upside down onto our cake. You want the wider edge of the tip to be touching the cake so that the frilled edge is nice and thin. We've moved on to the next drape, working our way around the cake, and then come back and scraped off the buttercream and repiped the drape correctly. One of the best qualities about working with our crusted buttercream is that if you leave it a little while to crust over, it is very easy to remove and repipe the design if you make a mistake. No need to stress that you've ruined your cake. In case you don't know, you can purchase our Buttercream Ultimate Guide using the link below or comment Buttercream over on our Insta page and we will DM you the link. It's way more than a recipe. It's how we've been making our buttercream for more than 10 years with all our tips to make it easy for you. Now back to our gorgeous cake. It's time to add another layer of frills onto our drapes using the same shade of rose pink and the same piping tip. To add more decoration to the bottom edge, we're piping a scallop design using a number 21 loyal piping tip. Next, we're going to add the final layer to our draped frills using the number 32 loyal tip and pipe a shell design. For our next row, we'll use the number 21 loyal tip and pipe a row of essentially little hearts around the top edge, still on the side of the cake. On the very top edge above this, we'll pipe another shell style border and then move on to our larger shell border with the darker buttercream and loyal 6B tip. The final row of piping is the inside edge on the top of the cake using the number 21 loyal tip. We've started piping from the center, working our way outwards and finishing at the base tip of the heart. Make sure you angle your piping bag slightly away from the larger shell border so that you don't accidentally touch the piped border. After this, we get to add the final little details that make this design so special. Using the 21 tip and the darker buttercream, we pipe little rosettes at the top peaks of our drapes and around the top of our cake. The last decorative addition is some piping under the drapes using the same piping tip and shade of buttercream. Our last little embellishments include adding some leaves to the rosettes using the lighter pink buttercream and a leaf number 352 loyal tip. And we then add some centers to the decorative piping using number 32 loyal tip. After all of this, you can stand back and admire your work of art. If you need any equipment, you can easily order online from Caker's Warehouse. Use our code Enchanted10 at checkout and you'll also save yourself 10% on your purchases. Now, as promised, let's have a quick look at pricing this cake. On the very surface, you have a pretty heart-shaped cake, which is very much on trend and with less detail are quite mass-produced in some bakeries. But if you are a custom cake artist like we are, all your orders are custom design and nothing is mass-produced. Keeping this in mind, before this video even started, we had already prepped our cake, which included hand carving, layering with ganache, covering with ganache, and then buttercream. Prior to this even, you have the baking of the cake and making both the ganache and the buttercream. You then have to colour your buttercream into 3 shades of ombre pink, making sure you have enough but not too much so that wastage is kept to a minimum. We have also prepped all our piping bags and tips and couplers, which takes time and costs money, as well as sourcing a gold acrylic topper and boards and boxes. Add to this all the time for prep and washing up, administration for the order, overheads, profit, social media and photography, and professional development, and eventually you will arrive at your price. It's always so much more than just cake. Thank you for joining me today, and if you have questions or comments, make sure to pop them below and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any new episodes. If you have any cake friends that would enjoy this episode, make sure you share the link and send it to them. I would greatly appreciate it.